Rec League Podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your haters. Available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Breaker, Podchaser, Radio Public, and Stitcher. At Rec League Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. At Rec League Pod on Twitter. Episode 60 coming soon. Yo, whether you watching this from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram or YouTube itself. What up, world? So, I just watched A Quiet Place Part 2. It is the sequel to 2018's A Quiet Place. It stars Emily Blunt, Cillian Murphy, Millicent, I hope I said her name right, Simmons, Noah Jupe, John Krasinski, Jaimin Hansu, and it is also directed by John Krasinski, who directed the first A Quiet Place, who directed The Hollers with Charlton Copley, Margot Martindale, Richard Jenkins, Anna Kendrick. And if you want to get a shout out in my review of what comes out next weekend, I think Spirit Untamed, stay tuned to the end of the video to figure out how you can do that. You got the survivors of the first movie, and they're just trying to survive very quietly. I don't want to give anything about this movie away, man. It, as you can see, was one of my most anticipated movies of this year. It was one of my most anticipated movies of last year. A Quiet Place is just amazing. It's even rewatching it a day or two ago, it's still just so tense. Like, John Krasinski as, you know, the director, I get that's the only word to really describe him, man. He like tone, atmosphere, environment. It's a character, just like Emily Blunt, just like Cillian Murphy. Like, the environment is a character because any little noise attracts these monsters. And while a majority of the first movie is basically just like in their home, like it's quiet, it's secluded, this movie is perfect at expanding and world building and just seeing what else is out there while trying to be quiet. And just like the first movie, there's like a prelude that just sets the tone so perfect. The performances are still great. Emily Blunt is award nomination worthy anytime she's on screen. Millicent Simmons, Noah Jupe, like I said I don't know if I said it in YouTube, I know I put it on Letterboxd. The kids in these two movies are as good as the adults. They, like, kids usually take away and hurt the flow of the story. They're usually a liability. The kids in this movie are the MVPs. I completely get Cillian Murphy's character. Like, I love that we got new characters, but like not so many that it felt like it was in a completely different world. Like, this is still A Quiet Place, but there are more characters. That is all I really want to say. Like, this is you have to see it for yourself movie. This is John Krasinski world building perfectly, expanding what we knew from the first one. And I want to thank John Krasinski like a motherfucker. I want to thank Paramount like a motherfucker for making two movies where, for the most part, there was a little noise, but for the most part, people lock in and people shut the fuck up and actually watch. There no phone screens, no noise, just focused on the story, focused on what's going on the screen. There is one jump. There are a couple jump scares. Like, I jumped a couple times, but there's one that was so good. It was so quiet. When it happens, like, like you could hear like murmurs in the audience in the screening I watched of like people like oh shit, like I didn't see that coming, like reaction to how good that scare was. It was great. I'm not one that's gonna stand like on the mountaintop and shout that this is better than the original, because I don't know. Like it's gonna take multiple viewings, like watching them both back to 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 really decide. Right now, I think I like the original more, but this is a worthy sequel. This is a deserved follow up, man. This is a deserved. It's a perfect companion piece. That's the best way I can say it. So with all that being said, in my opinion, I will say that A Quiet Place Part 2 is almost dope as fuck. Have you seen A Quiet Place Part 2, man? What you think about it? Positive, negative, somewhere in between? Let me know. I recently posted reviews for Army of the Dead, for Spiral from the Book of Saw, for the other movie that came out that weekend, Those Who Wish Me Dead, Wrath of Man, and Justice Society World War II. I can never say Justice Society. I can never say Justice Society World War II really fast. Like it always jumbles my fucking speech. I have a review for Cruella right around the corner. Next weekend, like I said, I think I want to see Spirit Untamed. And then June 11th, I'm completely blanking on what the new releases are. So maybe I'll have something, maybe I won't. If you want that shout out in my review of Spirit Untamed, completely assuming my theater gets it, within $2 million, higher or lower, how much will Cruella make at the box office opening weekend? Be the first, be the closest. Get your guesses in by noon Central Time Sunday, and you get shouted. Reckley Podcast, episode 60 coming up. And I'm gonna have a quartet on the screen and on Anchor, on Spotify, but it's gonna be 4 different voices. This is gonna be talking about our 3 favorite comedies of the 21st century, because we're just gonna go against that article that had Sideways as the funniest movie since the year 2000. But check that out, man. Like, I'm excited to have that discussion. Like, subscribe, comment. Find me where you find me, man. Don't know where to find me. Watch these credits. Peace.